Let's make an easy gingerbread tiramisu. Let us begin. Okay, so I'm starting off with around about 300 milliliters of coffee espresso. You can go for machine or instant coffee, whichever one you prefer. I'm going for spices because I'm going to infuse them. I've gone for 2 teaspoons of ginger powder. And then I'm going to go with cinnamon, but you can also use mixed spice, that would also work. You're trying to kind of replicate all the spices that you would normally find in gingerbread. Now, I know a lot of you probably think this is a little bit out there and it's untraditional, but I just think this sort of concept is so comforting for Christmas. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla as well because I think this is a really perfect ingredient. It also mellows out the cinnamon and ginger because they're quite strong in terms of spices as well. Now I'm going to stir this in, and then I'm going to add my secret ingredient to make this extra gingerbready. And I think this is something that a lot of people who love gingerbread coffee or hot chocolate will have, which is the gingerbread syrup. I've added 2 tablespoons of this, but I think I added another 1 later on because I just wanted, oh no, I added 3, my bad. But the ideal world is you're kind of getting really close to that gingerbread flavor because it's gonna have that sort of punch later on when you add it to the fingers. And then a little bit of sugar just to taste, so it's nice and sweet. Now I did bring this to boil because that's the best way to infuse the spice. It also speeds up the element, otherwise you can also leave it overnight. Okay, so far there isn't any alcohol, and I appreciate some of you guys are wondering where the alcohol is. So for all you alcoholic lots, there will be alcohol. It won't be in the coffee base, but it would be in the cream, because without alcohol in tiramisu, I mean, we couldn't live without it. So I'm going to be adding the most Christmassy ingredient I have, which is Bailey's. I think everyone gets a bottle of Bailey at Christmas at least once or twice a year. Okay, I'll quit rambling now. Now, Bailey's, super interesting. It's got a really cream element, so it adds perfectly to this. Now, I'm adding 2 cups of it to 1 cup of Bailey. Now, listen to the sound of this. It's an amazing sound of Christmas. Okay, so when you're adding this, there is going to be an element of resistance because of the alcohol element to it. Now I add a dash of sugar as well. I'll leave the measurements down below for you guys just in case. But the ratio really doesn't matter because of the cream element and alcohol. It will eventually become soft peak cream. What I would say is it tends to take a little bit longer than the normal recipe because of the alcohol element. Now adding the mascarpone, what I did was just whisk it to warm up the mascarpone before adding the cream so it doesn't split. And then eventually, because of the mascarpone, it has a setting sort of agent that allows the cream to thicken. So don't be too concerned if your cream looks a little bit runny. It's just the sort of trust process, I would say. Okay, you weren't meant to see that. Anyway, strain the coffee and then let it set aside. We're gonna start building our layers with the fingers. These are tiny. Now, I do imagine if you replace these fingers with actual gingerbread squares, it would be amazing and it would probably taste even more gingerbready. However, I'm not going to dictate that now because I already made this recipe and I still would recommend doing this. It's such a great replacement from a traditional one. And of course, you can still add more alcohol if you wanted to. I'll bet you're wondering what I'm going to do with the leftover coffee and all the mascarpone cream filling. Now, in the ideal world, I would have had more fingers because I probably would have planned the video better. However, you can still heat up the coffee and you can still have it with the cream. Or what you can do is mix up the biscuits. If you guys got digestive biscuits, if you guys got those ginger ones, if you got those oat biscuits, add them in, make the same layers to a tiramisu, but without the fingers. It can't be that hard. Honestly, this recipe is so versatile. You don't have to stick to the rules. I don't really believe in gatekeeping or sticking to specific recipes. So if you guys wanted a more traditional recipe, this is not going to be the one. This is more of like the kind of last minute throw together, things that I can grab at my corner shop or whatever, and putting it together. And honestly, such an easy recipe. I really, really love it. And these are one of the easiest recipes that I love pulling out for Christmas because I just don't think anyone's complaining about them. It's so delicious, it's so creamy, and honestly you can make it on the day if you're really stuck for choice in terms of dessert, because you can get these at your local supermarket or even corner shops. Now I made two. I made a rectangle one and a circle one, and honestly they were eaten within a matter of days. Now, on to the coffee recipe. It's not really a recipe, I lie. Reheat the coffee and then add your favourite milk or cream or even Baileys if you wanted to. I went with oat milk. It doesn't look so appetizing. And hopefully you guys enjoy making this at home. It's such an easy one. You can't go wrong with this sort of dessert.